And also too, when you are more stressed, guess what happens? You're going to deplete dopamine because that's that feel-good neurotransmitter. You'll convert dopamine to adrenaline. And when you do that, guess what happens when dopamine drops? You can have more cravings, right? You can have more mood issues, more cravings. And when your cravings increase, guess what you eat? People have cravings. They're typically not eating a steak and eggs. They're typically eating processed carbohydrate. And so then that's more fuel for Candida. So out of the gate, we talked about the testing out of the gate. We talked about kind of the 4 or 5 ways that we can manifest. Now, if we have Candida on our skin, you have to address it internally, and you have to address it with the diet. So, of course, a lower carb paleo template's going to be great. Paleo template's really focusing on food that's more evolutionarily appropriate, not Neolithic processed foods, processed seeds, oils, and nuts and flours and grains. So it's more vegetables, more meat. It's going to be more lower carb mostly, but it's macronutrient agnostic. You can adjust and add starch or fruit in there if you feel good about doing it. But if we have Candida issues and Candida is your goal, you probably want to be lower carb, at least for the first month. You want to restrict that fuel source. Now, some people are like, hey, I'm going to cut carbs out altogether and go full on carnivore. You can do that, but I find that sometimes you can create this, you could put these Candida into like a cyst or a spore-like state where they almost go in hibernation. And so they kind of hang out, but they're in this hibernation state. So then when you kind of come in there and we add in antimicrobials down the road, those antimicrobials may not be as effective. And so we want that Candida to be there a little bit. So when we want to address that, we want a little bit of carbohydrates in it. A couple of servings of, fruit a day may be fine, along with your meat and vegetables. If you read Doug Kaufman's book, The Fungal Link, he talks about you need a little bit of carbohydrate there. And when we start doing killing, I'll have patients even add in a little bit of starch, a little bit of fruit, and really make sure it's there. I tell them, think of it as cheese on the mousetrap, if you will. Cheese on the mousetrap. So keep that in mind. That's very important. So diet-wise, lower carb paleo. I always work through my 6 R's. So we're removing the bad foods. We're removing the inflammatory foods. We are trying to work on motility, making sure we're moving the junk in your tummy out. We're replacing enzymes and acids. We're making sure bile salts are present. We are making sure the pH is fully addressed because, like I mentioned, low pH, right? Low pH, high stomach acid equals low pH, by the way, is going to make it harder for microbes to grow. We're breaking the food down better, less of that stuff to ferment and acidify and create more symptoms down the road. And then just real quick, we talked about briefly, but the big Candida symptoms can be brain fog, can be fatigue, can be sweet cravings, can be skin fungus like the tinea versicolor, it can be the dandruff, it can be the toenail fungus, can be brain fog, can be mood issues or irritability. It can be just bloating, gas, and or digestion issues too. And so you have all those as kind of your vectors, and they all kind of overlap a little bit with SIBO or other types of digestive problems as well, by the way. Just FYI.